Not a nice guy. Doesn't like the kids. Yeah. So don't say nothing. There's no need to say anything at all, especially about a guy like Vince Scully. And then he went up to say, TJ said, you're batting 500, batting third in front of Manny Ramirez. Don't you think that has a lot to do with Manny? He said, absolutely not. It has nothing to do with Manny. It's about adjustments. Like we went to the game Friday night.
All we were talking about was he went 3 for 4 that night too.
Yeah,
I think
he's batting 500 against Manny.
I mean, it's
batting 250.
It's only coincidence he was batting like 247 before Manny came here, and now his average is at what, like 280?
Bills gets out of the inning. It's still 3-0 Dodgers. He's batting 280 now. He was batting, like you said,
247.
Yeah,
for the majority of the season.
30 points. He's raised his batting average since he's been since he's been in front of Manny. Manny obviously protecting him. He's getting fastballs. Kent's getting fastballs. He's a fastball hitter. They don't want to face a guy like Manny with a guy on base. So, come on, Kent. I mean, there's no need to say anything like that. They just don't go there, right?
And that's what
he claimed that he's been a veteran. He's been through the Major League Baseball
throughout the years,
and that it's about adjustments, and that he has to adjust. Come on, dude. He knows.
From the fans' perspective, before Manny got here, it looked like he was towards the end of his career, and he was breaking down, and he was almost done.
Well, he understands exactly what type of protection he's getting behind Manny, but he just doesn't want to admit it, honestly, because I think he doesn't like the attention going to Manny. He kind of wants all that. He wants to be known as the guy, the cornerstone of our offense. Art and Whitty here. Art, what's happening, Art?
Hey, guys, what's going on tonight?
How are we feeling? We're doing good.
Oh, I'm doing good. A nice feeling. Dodgers are up 3-0, so life is good now at least. But like I always start out the show, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on a Wednesday night but MnM Sports Talk. And Mad Mike, you are the genius in Southern California. Keep up the great work. And the future president of the United States of America, this great country, Intern Armin, how are you?
Good. How are you, Art?
I'm wonderful, thanks. Mike, you were talking about Jeff Kent.
Are you still there? We kind of lost Art in the cell phone madness here in L.A. I'm sure he'll call back. It sounded like you want to talk about Jeff Kent. 3-0 Dodgers, bottom third. Billingsley kind of didn't bring his stuff, but he's kind of battling through it. Danny Ardoin gets a big base hit to bring in 2 runs. Matt Kemp.
He's been playing well.
Talk about a guy who's finally coming together.
Even though he has no idea how to run the bases, he's been playing really well.
A little leaguer can probably run better than Matt Kemp can, but the talent that this dude has,
I know, it's amazing.
I mean, he can clear cut in a couple years. He could be a 30-30 guy, a 300 hitter. Matt Kemp is that guy. Now, they're showing Matt Holliday on the screen. There was rumors that before the deadline came that Matt Holliday for Matt Kemp. Would you make that trade if you're the Dodgers?
No.
You wouldn't, huh?
No, I really like Matt Kemp. I mean,
because of his potential, or
because of his. Right now, Holliday's obviously the better player, but I don't know. Kemp has potential that I haven't seen in a young Dodger in a long time. I mean,
since maybe Raul Mondesi.
There's been these young Dodgers that they hype and they hype and they hype, and then they bring them up and they just struggle. And it's like, okay, you keep teasing us with these players. That
you mean Andy LaRoche didn't do it for you?
No, we've talked about this
Come
a whole
on,
time.
Andy LaRoche didn't do it for you?
All I heard about Andy LaRoche were good things. He comes up to the majors, and the best he does is bat 220, but I can't complain because the guy got us Manny. So, I mean, I guess...
Absolutely. I mean, I think...
Or like Edwin Jackson. How about that?
As what do you know, Mr. Grumpy Jeff Kent singles to center field, but that has nothing to do with Manny Ramirez in front of you. He got a pitch belt-high fastball, about 92 miles an hour, but now Manny comes up with the guy on first, and Art hopefully has better reception.
Yeah, I'm back on, guys. Sorry about that. Technology, huh? No, but Mike, I couldn't agree with you anymore. Jeff Kent's a grumpy old man. It just seems like every year the guy comes up with something, whether or not it's he's chewing out the young guys in the ball club, and now having picking a fight with Vince Scully. Come on, or not necessarily picking a fight, but just calling him out on certain things. I mean, that's just idiotic. Vince Scully never said anything bad about this guy. Unfortunately, he's just an absolute idiot. But he's on our team, and it's the last year, and then after this year, good riddance, and thank you for your subpar performance with my uniform. Give me my uniform package for those.
Well, he kind of rephrased himself today about Vince Scully, the whole Vince Scully situation, and he said that he kind of worded it wrong, and that he was talking to T.J. Simers, and people didn't understand T.J. Simers' humor, so he figured if he told T.J. Simers this, that Simers can kind of whip it to a different, something different to make it funny for his readers. He apologized today. He said he has the utmost respect for Vince Scully. And then what gets me is about the Manny thing. All you have to say is, with the Manny edition, there's no doubt this makes us a lot better. I'm a three-hitter now. I get some protection. It feels great. There's no need to say I'm making adjustments. The guy's batting 500 when Manny's been here, and he's been in front of him. He's getting a bunch of fastballs as Manny singles first and second now with one out with Nomar up. So give credit where credit is due. I mean, he's just a grumpy old man. Manny Ramirez has revived Jeff Kent's career. Okay, he was batting 250 before Manny's arrival. So I give a lot of credit to Manny Ramirez.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing that I wanted to touch on, guys, actually two other things. Unbelievable how Michael Phelps pulled off the 8 drop medals. I think the line and everything just happened perfectly for him. And kudos to Michael Phelps. And it just shows that some of the best Olympians still reside here in the States. So that definitely shows our dominance across the world. And the last thing I wanted to talk about tonight, guys, was the Redeem team. They were much maligned coming into the Olympics this year. With a lot of the issues they had in the international games in the past, and the Olympics last time, it's really, really good to know that these guys have been completely unselfish, totally selfless, and you know what? I give a lot of credit to Mike Krzyzewski and his staff, and the great job that he's done. And it just seems as if these guys are having a blast seeing people. And they know what they need to do. They're not taking anything for granted. They're playing hard-nosed defense, and they've been doing a really, really good job. So I really hope that they can beat Argentina, the winner of Lithuania and Spain in the final, and bring home the gold back where it belongs here in the good old States.
I think it will. I think they what they're doing is so expected. The talent on this team is by far the greatest talent in the entire world. There is no excuse with a team with Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Chris Paul,
a healthy Dwayne Wade.
I mean, how do you lose to anybody?
Do you think this team could beat the 92 team?
I don't think so.
That 92 team.
That's why they were called the Dream Team. I mean, those guys were amazing.
It's a different era, though, too.
But pretty close, though.
Athleticism is a little different.
I think it's very close. Good trivia question: who coached that 92 team? Do you know that, Inter? Art, do you know who coached that 92 team?
I want to say Don
Jeez, I want to say it was Chuck Daly.
Absolutely, nice.
Right.
Ding, ding, ding. Nice work, Chuck Daly. Yeah, and I agree, man. I agree with Krzyzewski. Krzyzewski is a stud. I think college coaches in the NBA will not succeed. I think it's a totally different game. But Mike Krzyzewski is the exception to a lot of college coaches. He's probably the only exception that will succeed in the NBA because, and don't get me wrong, I mean, the dude's got a ton of talent that he's working with now. It's very easy to work with a lot of talent, but you got to remember they got a lot of egos as well. But Krzyzewski is a stud. That dude knows exactly what to do, how to handle these guys. It's so fun to watch, Art. It really is.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Inter Armand, future president of the United States of America, with regard to who would win between this year's team and 92, I take the 92 team in probably a spread of 12 to 15 points. We're talking about the pioneers of basketball here. We're talking about some of the godfathers of basketball that laid out the groundwork. The guys could hit a 10 to 12-foot jump shot, unlike some of these guys. And they can play defense like a mother, not to mention the fact that they would create mismatches all up and down the court against these guys. So I don't think this is a close jock of the 92 team. If you're talking only athleticism, maybe you got somewhat of a point, but there's no way that you can defend the mound round of rebound, the round mound of rebound.